FPE Network.
Florida Park Explorers.
We explore the parks 5 to 6 days a week with great live streams and vlogs. We cover everything from rides and food to magic and fun and fireworks. So come join us on our adventures as we take you through
the Disney parks and more.
And check out our all-new channel, the FPE Network. And thanks for watching.
Smiles, laughter, togetherness. It's the stuff vacations are made of. Not just the time we spend, but the memories we make together. So let Melska Planner help you plan the most magical vacation of all. We'll make it happen while you make the memories. Melska Planner. Family vacations made magically simple.
I have everybody muted. I screwed up already. Wow. Hello, hockey fans. We're coming in just like last week. I don't even know where to start now. Oh, no.
I was going to say my biggest joke of the night, but I think you have a joke that's even bigger than this one.
I think I'm wearing it.
Oh, what a tough night. Tough night.
3-1 the Bruins. I mean, you just lost in overtime. I mean,
but at least I can kind of cheer. So why don't we just do this? We'll just take this off.
There's no lead here. That's why I put on Star Wars. I figure I can't go wrong with Star Wars. That was real. Well, let's say hey to everybody. Oh, jeez, I'll tell you. Another week like last week, I don't think I can handle it. My ribs hurt for like a month. Bernie, how are you? Crewed up 1313. Where is Charlie? That's the question of the day. And we want to know, how's his mom?
I heard Charlie got grounded, actually. His mom did not have a good night.
No punch and pie this week. What's up, Steve? Buck Skull Gang in the house. Welcome in. That's a great name. I love that. Morgan, welcome in. And let's see who else we got in here tonight. Jacob 12. Alyssa, how are you? FPE Sports, I know them. Sam Welb Experience. Wait, I know you too. Who else is here? We got a bunch of people in. Welcome in, everybody. If we didn't see you in the chat already, we'll catch up as you guys are kind of going through. But welcome into another night of even strength. We're getting close to the end of the season.
It's getting there. I know it's Saturday, but there's really 1 week left.
Sam said something back in the green room. He said he hates Saturday nights. Oh, just kidding. Like, don't even take me seriously. So after last week, now we have to talk about last week before we get started. And before we go on a funny note, let's start off. Last week we had Mike Bossy. This week it's Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur, hockey hat off. Guy, you were one of the best. You were fantastic. We're sorry to see you go, but hockey clap.
Yeah.
So Guy, go play hockey with Mike Bossy. But other than that, last week was absolutely insane. Obviously, we talked some hockey when we weren't laughing. We had Charlie Conway in here last week, which for all three, that was epic. I mean, I've never seen a player come in for 3 interviews in the same time. And Bernie, yeah, you know what? That actually is a great way of putting it. God definitely reloaded the scoring depth in heaven in the last 10 days. That's exactly right. So could you imagine that all-star team?
Yeah, you got the world's best GM up there. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, not like some of the current GMs. Having said that, so going on with this week, it's a week left in hockey just about for the playoffs. I think everything's starting to get seeded. I'm going to pull up the standings in just a second. But, what I really wanted to kind of start off by saying was I'm not saying I'm surprised or amazed at how fast, by the way, crew, yes. I'm not surprised with where everything is. I think what I'm more surprised with is how close you and I actually were to what actually was going to happen a month ago. Like, I'm like really impressed that 2 hockey guys were sitting around going, hey, let's call it and see what happens. Let me bring up the standings so that you can kind of go through it, because I think what everyone's going to find out is most everything is in line already, but there's a couple of really good battles I think that are still going to take place here. Let me bring up the standings.
There is, the funny thing, when we go back and we have the conversation and we're like, hey, this is what things are looking up to be. If they continue on this track, this is what's going to happen. And now that it kind of comes to fruition, it's kind of like, okay, we know what we're talking about. So I'm actually going into a playoff hockey pool next Sunday with this false confidence that I actually know what I'm talking about. So in a couple months' time, I could be sulky Sam if I don't come out well in that pool.
Well, but remember when we were talking about the standings originally, Mike Wheeler, what's happening? Wait, Dave the BearShark, how? Yeah, you guys didn't notice my name. I'm going to be changing my name every single time I come on camera. No, I'm not going to. So, Jen, just so you know, I'm not going to let anybody know. Just do it. So basically, one of the things you and I were talking about during the standings was about your Maple Leafs. And you were, I think, in 4th or 5th place. And I said, don't count them out. There's some amazing hockey to be played. You guys were starting to uptick. It was right around the trade deadline. And look at you guys right now. When you look at those points and you're sitting at 109, you're pretty secure, even with that, and I'm sorry to say this, that throttling you took last night. Like that was just a beatdown. That was just the Lightning saying, we're still here. Just knock, knock. We're playing hockey. But you guys securely have got 2nd place. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think the Panthers at this point, I think they're going to walk away maybe with the President's Trophy. I think that they've got it.
Yep, I agree there. Panthers, they definitely have it. And you're right. The Leafs, they made that Giordano trade, and they just were tracking up and up and up. And they actually have now set in new single season points record for points and wins in the Maple Leaf franchise history. 106 points and 50 wins broke the record. So they're doing something right.
I got to be honest. You guys are playing fantastic hockey. If you weren't calling them, I wouldn't watch as many games as I do. But because you call them, I watch them. If you guys are not going over to Sam's channel, get over there, subscribe, watch him. He calls amazing games. And by the way, welcome in anybody who's ninja watching. We know who you are. So basically, and as Bernie just put in, 3-game losing streak for Colorado probably helped, and it absolutely did. When we get into the Met division and you look at the Hurricanes, Rangers, Penguins, and Capitals, if you also remember, I said I thought the Capitals were going to hit the gas. I thought that they would make a run for the top 3. I didn't think that they would get into 1st or 2nd. but they are literally one game out of third place. And that doesn't surprise me. That will be the determining factor this week as to who, the Hurricanes, Rangers, who were playing what. It's really interesting to watch how the Hurricanes and Rangers also, by the way, 1 point, and we play Tuesday. We're one game difference. We're two points apart, game.
And they have a tough spot to fill in goal right now with Freddie going down.
That's by the way, speaking of goalies that went down, you heard Vegas lost her goalie, season-ending injury. So
I didn't.
That's going to be huge. Like, why can't I think of his name? Lehner.
Robin Lehner. Yeah,
Lehner.
yeah. So I did actually. I did see that. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're in a tough spot, right? Because they're battling with Dallas and Nashville for that last spot,
right?
Or for the last two spots. And they're right now on the outside looking in. So losing their goaltender is not going to bode well for Vegas.
No. And when you look back through the Atlantic and you see Bruins beat us today, they're sitting 3 points out of the Lightning. The Lightning are 5 points behind you. So I still think that the battle is Lightning Bruins right now. Yep. I think that your division is set. I think my division, we're still going to fight. There's 2 points separating both teams. So I think that there's something epic there. As Bernie pointed out, Avalanche took a skid to 116 points. I think that Florida paved the way. But when you look at that second, third position, you look at Wild Blues, Predators are not – they're going to be a wild card. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And by the way, good call on that from you, because when you said that, they were in sixth. So that was an epic call. But Blues Wild, who's going to fight that out for between second and third? And then this is the one that I think I laugh about the most. And it's Calgary Flames at 106, Oilers, Kings, Knights. I think the Knights are done. I think, you got a goaltending issue now. I think that is set. I don't think that the Oilers, Kings are going to swap spots. I'm pretty sure that this division is set.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you there. Barring any unforeseen drastic losing streak and winning streak, it's probably
or major injury.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the thing. This is the division that you and I kept talking about, though, with having Avalanche or skidding going into the playoffs. Yay!
Yeah, and I think we're set. Minnesota and St. Louis, I think, is the only series that's confirmed right now that they're going to be matching up in the first round.
See, and that's surprising to me, because you've only got a 2 point differential between Wild Blues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in theory, you're talking about a game swap and Blues take second place. So this is going to be really interesting coming down the stretch. I think at this point, the games really to watch right now, I think, are Lightning and Blues. You guys, as long as you just stay solid, you're fine. You'll hold second place, and you won't have any real issues. But that Lightning, Bruins, and then the Metropolitan Division is up for grabs. You got one game between Rangers, Hurricanes, which is going to be Tuesday. In theory, if we win, we tie them for first. If you notice games played, we would be 79-79. They no longer have the game in hand. So we would be tied for first, and then we come down to divisional. But then you look at Penguins, Caps. I mean, this is not set. This is going to be fun to watch. This is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, we take on Washington, I think, tomorrow night. So we'll see how they bounce back. Washington always plays us tough. Now, we spanked Washington last time around. But if history tells us anything, we spanked Tampa Bay before they came in and destroyed us. Oh, there he is.
What's up, Mark?
Go Panthers. Go Panthers.
There
Number one.
So Vegas plays Dallas Tuesday night. Vegas having obviously now has a goaltending issue. So, you got to almost assume Dallas is going to win that. I don't know, but when you look at it, you literally are sitting here going, okay, I don't know. This is going to be a fun week, though. This is almost as much fun for me as the trade deadline, because this is where everything will settle in. We'll set up, and I would pretty much guarantee anybody who's watching this, I'm going to be calling every Ranger game pretty much from here on out. You're going to be calling every Toronto game from here on out. And man, do I want to play you in the playoffs.
So here's something real cool. I found this. This was actually a couple days ago.
Wait. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Because I read this before we went on the air, but Bernie is saying Leonard is not ruled out for the season. I heard he was getting season-ending surgery.
Interesting.
Oh, could play tomorrow night. That is contrary to everything I read coming onto the air. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No worries. So I found this playoff simulation that took place, and I took a screenshot. So I'll show you the picture after on my phone. But it went through and it showed the matchups based off of, where they were the other day and who comes out. So I want to see if you predict what some of these happen. And we'll go through this quickly because I know we have a lot to cover, but I think this is kind of fun. So let's start in the West. They have Calgary, Dallas. Who do you pick coming out of that?
Calgary.
Dallas wins it 4-2.
Really?
In the simulation.
No, come on. Dallas wins
4-2. Edmonton, LA Kings.
Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton sweeps it 4-0. Colorado, Nashville.
Colorado.
Nashville takes it 4-2.
Come on. Who did this? Did they throw darts?
St. Louis, Minnesota.
See, here's the problem I have with this. I know I should pick St. Louis, but I love Matt Zuccarello, so I'm going to go Stars.
It's Minnesota Wild now.
Wild. My bad. I meant Wild.
That's okay. North Stars still works for me.
Yeah, North Stars. I'm still sitting here. I'm like, Stars. No,
Minnesota takes it 4-3. So then in your 2 quarter rounds, you got Dallas, Edmonton. Who do you pick at a Dallas, Edmonton?
Edmonton.
Yep. Edmonton takes it 4-2. Then you have Minnesota, Nashville, which I think would be an epic series.
I would love to see Nashville take that.
Nashville takes it 4-2. So we're going to leave it there. We got Nashville, Edmonton in the semifinals. So let's go over to the East. We have Florida, Washington.
Florida
takes it 4-3. Toronto,
no
Tampa.
Way. Come on. No way. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Toronto, Tampa.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going Toronto.
Yeah, Tampa takes it 4-2. Then we have Carolina, Boston.
Carolina.
Boston takes it 4-1. Then we have Rangers, Pittsburgh.
Rangers.
Yeah, Rangers take it 4-2. So then we have the Battle of Florida. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Panthers.
Tampa takes it in a sweep 4-0. Then Rangers, Boston.
Rangers.
Boston takes it in 7. So now we have Boston, Tampa, and Edmonton, Nashville. So who are your picks to go to the final?
Rangers and I'm sorry. Who am I supposed to pick in this hypothetical?
Boston or Tampa? Boston or
Tampa? Boston, Tampa. I'm going Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa takes it 4-2. So we got Tampa in the Stanley Cup Finals. And are they playing Nashville or Edmonton?
Nashville.
Nashville goes to the final. So you have a Stanley Cup final of Tampa Bay or Nashville.
And Tampa
the entire NHL office is cringing because of the way the ratings would be. Who do you pick wins it?
Tampa.
Nashville wins the Stanley Cup in a sweep, 4-0.
So who picked this?
I don't even remember.
Was it kindergartners throwing darts or was it kindergartners throwing water balloons?
I love the simulations because they're so random. And I saw that the other day. I'm like, this is outstanding.
Let me tell you something. What you just compared this to is Celebrity Deathmatch when they used to have it on MTV when they were claymation. Okay. There is nothing about what you just said to me. When you were saying 4-2s, and I'm going, no, that's wishful thinking. Okay. Especially when you're telling me who did the Panthers lose to? They lost to Tampa in a sweep. Is that what you told me?
Tampa beat Florida 4-0.
Come on. That's the best team in hockey right now. Like, come on. Like, no way. Like, and I love simulations. I love to see where it goes. I would love that. I would love to actually pick that against what they do and us pick it the way we actually think it would go.
We should, on next Saturday, because it'll be the last Saturday of the regular season. Hopefully, we'll know for sure what more of the matchups will be. At least I hope so, since my hockey pool is on the Sunday night. But we should do that. We should go. Let's make a list. We'll put our picks in.
Yeah.
And see how well or not well we do.
Let's pick team and how many in the series.
Yeah, that's
see awesome. How close this goes, because let me tell you something. First of all, at draft deadline, you and I were way closer as to who actually was getting traded and where, and we were way closer with who would be set up towards the end of the season. We were way closer. So I think we have the Canadian and the USA picking things, and I think we're gonna kill them.
Yeah.
So, but let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do Sam's Club. Sam's gonna go through some things, and then we'll do some chatting again. So, hang on a second, everybody. We're gonna pay a bill or two. Give us just a second. We'll be right back with Even Strength right after this.
Main Street Treat brings Disney to you. Hey, we're Rob and Mel from Disney Connections and the new owners of Main Street Treat Company. So come visit us over at mainstreettreat.com to order your treats today.
So if you're not ordering from Main Street Treats, why not? You can get anything you want from the parks. They will send it to you. Shame on you. Order from them today. Before we get into Sam's Club, there's one other thing that I wanted to go over. So hang on a second. Let me hit this other button and bring this up. Hang on a second.
Hey, boys. You ready to play some schoolyard puck? Come on.
Charlie, buddy, how's it going?
It's going well. The Panthers had the measles, right, from last week. We beat the Hawks. Life's great. How's those Maple Leafs?
Maple Leafs are doing good. They'd have better luck trying to get some maple syrup right about now than they would on the ice. But hey, 2 back-to-back tough games.
How are those Rangers, Dave?
Better than your mom.
Oh man, she does work in a diner. I mean, that's a commendable job. I mean, she's got to support District 5.
Oh, jeez.
You guys are rough.
Hey, anytime you want to drop the gloves, you let me know there, Charlie.
Oh, hey, I'm supposed to be fighting with who's the Mighty Duck captain? What's his name?
You're asking us? Oh,
yeah, you guys wanted me to fight the Mighty Duck captain.
Getzlaf.
Oh, well,
I forgot about that. We were supposed to set that up. But
I actually was tweeting with Getzlaf, and he said, "Wait, the Conway?" I said, "Yeah." I go, "No." He goes, "No, I'm out. So he backed out, but he did want me to say he really appreciates your mom's coffee.
Yes. Who doesn't? It's good in the morning.
Cinnabons are great with coffee.
Some flapjacks with Toronto Maple Leaf syrup. So, saying.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to go back to practice.
Charlie, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it as a follow-up. I mean, 4 interviews in a row. This is just epic. Sam, any last minute things for Charlie before he runs out of here? Because we're going to wrap up the season. We'll bring you next week as a to do your picks.
Just keep working on that flying V. It's really important.
How about the triple deke?
That's a good one too.
What happened with the triple deke though, Sam?
Triple deke, just
quarter of an inch this way, it would have gone in.
That's there.
Quarter of an inch the other way would have missed completely.
There's a lot of things that could be said about a quarter inch either way. And with that, come back next week, Charlie. Let's get your predictions for who's going to win Stanley Cup. Come on in. We're going to do our picks next week. All right?
Quack, 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 quack,
Quack,
quack.
quack, 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 quack. Thanks, Charlie. Sorry, I couldn't
Oh,
help.
Charlie.
Oh, I could not help that. I literally almost started crying again. That was fantastic.
I did.
Oh,
I'm looking for a sponsorship with Kleenex.
yeah, you Puffs Plus. So next week, what we'll do is we'll do our picks, and then we'll have Charlie Conway come in and do his picks as well. And let's see how this goes down the straightaway. We'll see how the whole thing goes. But as promised, everybody, coming up next is Sam's Club.
All righty, here we go. I got a bunch of random stuff I'm going to throw at you, and some of these are actually really, really interesting.
Yeah.
If we back it up, because I didn't actually get the stats last Saturday, but based off last Saturday, do you know there were 101 goals scored across the NHL, and it's only the second day in league history to feature more than 100 goals on one day?
Wait, 100 goals in one day?
In one day, last Saturday night, there was 101 total goals.
That's almost better than.
I don't think it was not last Saturday. It was on when did we get spanked by Tampa Bay? I think it was Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe it was Saturday. No, it was Saturday. My bad. I can't read.
That's okay.
They scored 101 goals on Saturday. The last time they scored more than 100 was back January 23rd of 93 when 103 goals were scored. It was also the third day in NHL history in which at least one team finished with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 goals. This is the first time since March 21st of 87.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Absolutely incredible.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's
wacky stats.
That's almost as good as your stats in the game last night. What did you guys have? 7,000 penalty minutes?
Yeah,
it was one of the most penalized games in the history of golf. I mean, hockey.
It's the only time Kyle Clifford reached with his stick over everybody and was tapping guy on the head. It was ridiculous.
The whole thing. I literally watched that game and I'm going, what is going on? And my favorite thing was watching Wayne Simmons and Moron, yeah, sit there and scream at each other down the bench. And then what's even better is what's considered a heavyweight champion fight right now, and that wasn't it.
No,
they were like, "Oh, two heavyweights going at it," and I'm like,
"It was a good fight, but it wasn't a heavyweight battle."
If Probert came back and said, "Let me show you how it's done," both of those guys would be like, "I'm sorry, what just hit me?" That's just not a heavyweight bout. It is today by today's standards, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Here's a couple others. For Leaf fans, we know Zach Hyman went over to Edmonton, and Michael Bunting has been doing his best in contention for Rookie of the Year. So a lot of folks have been comparing the two to say Zach Hyman was way better. Well, in a direct comparison, again, this was a couple of days old, Bunting has 23 goals. Zach Hyman has 24, so he has the one advantage. Bunting has 38 assists. Hyman only has 26. Bunting has 61 points. Hyman only has 50. Okay, so that's a huge difference. 50 points to 61. So everyone who's saying Michael Bunting is not a replacement for Zach Hyman, yeah, guess again. Couple other fun little stories here. Did you hear who has an interest in buying the Ottawa Senators should the daughters, Eugene Melnick's daughters, want to sell?
No, I didn't.
Justin Bieber has come out saying he wants to buy the Ottawa Senators. I thought you'd love that one. The Biebs, who's responsible for the Maple Leafs reversible jerseys, wants to buy Ottawa should it come up for sale.
Okay. This is not one of these things where just because you have money, you should be allowed to buy something and destroy it. I mean, what he did to your jerseys was horrible. Now he's going to go into Ottawa, which Ottawa used to be a really good team like 15 years ago.
Well, celebrity ownerships do not stop there. The Seattle Kraken have added 2 minority owners, Marshawn Lynch and Macklemore,
Yeah.
getting in the game. So
The
that's
Marshawn Lynch thing I thought was cool, especially when he was doing donuts on the Zamboni. I thought that was pretty neat. Macklemore, okay, whatever. You know, and like I don't know. Marshawn Lynch being involved though makes sense. You know, he's a Seattle guy through and through. He's a sports person, and like I actually like Marshawn Lynch. So
yeah, that was kind of cool. Here's another oddball one. It's this season. It's 18 years ago that the Maple Leafs last won a Stanley Cup playoff series tier. So we'll hopefully change that this year. 18 years is far too long to go.
you're talking about any series, first, second, third round. Like you have
Any
won.
series.
Wow.
18 years. Terrible. Talking about Michael Bunting earlier, and again, how important he is for the team. He only needs 3 more assists to break the Maple Leafs rookie assist record of 42 held by Mitch Marner from a couple years back. He also only needs 7 points from breaking the Maple Leafs rookie point record held by Austin Matthews. So that's pretty crazy. And how you make 5.5 to 950. Yep.
That's a significant stat right there.
Yep. Now, he did go down with injury today. He left in the first period. Did not return. Apparently, it's an ankle. So we'll have to see. But because he's going to be out, he probably won't hit those milestones. But still, the fact he's close is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Wow. Getting all choked up over here. NHL is returning to Europe next year with games in Czech Republic and Finland. So what did you think when they did those?
This is such a shot. I can't even tell you. The last time Toronto won a series, the NHL still had a 2-line pass rule.
No.
All of a sudden, I read that. It just struck me the wrong way. I was like, "Holy crap, that was forever ago."
That was just a few seasons ago.
It was only a couple decades. It's like, hey, whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry.
There's probably people watching that have no idea what the 2-line pass rule was.
So for everybody who doesn't know what a 2-line pass is, they used to have this absurd rule, and now like when you see these breakaways, which really make hockey entertaining, if you were in your own zone and you were to pass it out, you could not pass the blue line to the red line and hit an open man as on a breakaway. Or if you were in the neutral zone, you couldn't pass the red into the blue line. Obviously, it would be offsides. But a 2-line pass rule, it slowed the game down so much.
So much.
It was so stupid. And when they got rid of it, it was great. But apparently, it didn't help Toronto.
No.
Anyway, sorry. It just struck me the wrong way. I just started crying. I'm like, oh my God, that was forever ago.
Yep.
And because I complain about the 2-line pass more than anybody. Anyway, go ahead. My bad.
So what do you think? NHL returning to games in Czech and Finland next year?
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of neat. It sucks for the players because
that's what I'm saying is, you know, there's 2 things that I have a problem with it with. Number one, all right, in no small order, because I also can't say the C word, because at the end of the day, every time I do, ad suitability comes up. The C to the O to the VID 19, with it, you know, being out and about, I think we realized we didn't have to do this international travel.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it bad? It's bad because of the time zones. They're not used to when they're supposed to be playing. I'm worried about ice conditions, which were always an issue in the past. You do have some things where those type of things go on, and I just don't like it. I feel like they're not up to professional standards over there. You do have rinks that are different sizes. You have different things there's just too many variables. What's the point? And that's always been my thing. It's like, if there was a reason to go over and play these games over there, I don't understand it in NFL. I don't understand it in the NHL. I just don't get it.
Yeah. It's kind of neat as a fan because you get to see a different building. You get a little bit of that different experience. And the NHL always does a good job highlighting, you know, the different areas they're in. But as a player, it's got to be just horrendous. Just horrendous.
Well, if you're used to playing on a 3-hour skid, right? Because you're not going to go any more than East Coast to West Coast or vice versa. Now you're going halfway around the world. I'm sorry. I just don't see the point. I wish the Players Association had fought a little harder on some of these things. If you want to entice hockey fans, do more things like the outdoor games. Do more things that entice more fans to come, because the average person who's watching hockey doesn't realize this, or at least they probably just don't care. The average stadium only holds 20, 30,000 people, versus when you play outside and you play in baseball stadiums or football stadiums, they can hold 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 people. Now you can really get some people to come in. You can raise a lot of revenue. So do more of them. Like, if you're going to set up how much does it cost to set that up? That's not inexpensive. Play some games out there for 2 weeks. Like, do something fun, invite a bunch of people out, make it more entertaining, be more inclusive. And I think that you would see better numbers for hockey. I don't think going across the world makes a bit of difference.
Yeah, no, agree. Here's another interesting one. So now, we have a bunch of players that have hit 50 goals so far, and there's more that are very close to it. But this is the first time that we have 4 players with 50 plus goals in a season since 05-06. And in
baby.
05-06, there were 5 that did it. So right now we have Matthews, Draisaitl, Kreider, Ovechkin. Do you know who the 5 players were that did it in 05-06? Could you guess?
I'm going to go with the Hanson brothers, Dean Youngblood, and Goon.
You were very close, very close. Jaromir Jagr.
Jagr would have been one. I would still go with Ovechkin.
Yep, Ovechkin was another.
It's got to be. Was Pavel Datsyuk still? Pavel Datsyuk would be a guess.
It's not him. So we have Jagr, Ovechkin, Ilya Kovalchuk.
Kovalchuk. I forgot about him.
Danny Heatley.
Never would have guessed that.
And Jonathan Chichu.
Nope. I wasn't getting there on any of them, because in my mind it had to be a Red Wing. Like, I was seeing like Pavel Datsyuk should have been, I don't know, between Datsyuk, you had 05, we're going back 17 years, you would have still had potentially Fedorov. I mean, you would have had some, you should have had some good names up there, but that's shocking.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. The last kind of 2 quick things here. One, congratulations to Matthew Tkachuk, because I know you're probably watching this from your
jersey.
Yeah, I know Calgary's on the ice right now, so I'm sure Tkachuk is watching this from the bench. Congrats, he hit 100 points for the first time in his career, Matthew Tkachuk. So that's pretty awesome.
So Bernie also put this up, which is also an interesting point about playing overseas. You do lose 4 home games and you lose that revenue.
Yes.
In a year where we're also counting every dime to increase the salary cap, which most people don't realize, that revenue directly relates to how much the salary cap is in the league. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. Chichu with 56. Yep. There we go.
Yep. My last story for the day. We all know Jonathan Huberdeau set a franchise and NHL record for assists this year and still counting. And we know there's big conversations over who's going to win the Hart Trophy this year.
Yep.
Shesterkin in there, Matthews in there, Anyways, Huberdeau has come out and publicly said if he had a vote to vote towards the Hart Trophy, his vote would be for Austin Matthews. So I thought that was kind of a cool little gesture before Florida decided to beat us tonight.
I think it's very admirable, and I am still ridiculously biased. I want to see Shesterkin win it. Not only because it's a Ranger. I like it because it's a goaltender.
Yeah.
When it happens, look, there's generational goaltending, and we've seen it. And this is one of these times where this guy's just having one of those seasons. He may never play like this again, or maybe he plays every season like this. I don't know. Anybody in my household or anybody who has known me for any amount of time, I did not like Shesterkin when he came up. It wasn't that I didn't like him as a goaltender, because I thought he played very well in the KHL. I thought that, but I also sat there and said, KHL is not the NHL. Okay. You're playing against guys who can't make it. And I really was just like, I thought he had a little too much swagger and ego without having ever backed it up. And when he came into the league, he was not really that good. He got beat a lot. His attitude wasn't great. He wasn't a team player. He has morphed into a tremendous leader, a tremendous goaltender. And I had to eat a lot of crow on him because I wasn't sure he was going to make it. I thought he was, and again, I thought he was talented. I just didn't think that he was a team guy, and he's really kind of turned it around. But when a goaltender does something like what he's doing, when you're talking about a 94% save percentage, and I mean, he almost hit 95. When you're talking Vezina and Hart and the same thing, and I just think it's cool. Like, and it wouldn't matter to me if he was on another team. I would still sit there and say to you, defensemen always win it. Well, it's the Hart Trophy. I mean, it's for defensemen. But a goaltender, he played that well. He's considered the sixth man on the ice. You know, like it's not just he's stuck in the net. He's playing the puck. He's coming out. He's making decisions. I really, really like the guy, and I'd love to see him pull it off because it's not done that often. What's it been? 20-something years since the last goaltender won?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be awesome. I love the awards. I know some people can't stand them. I think they've tried to make it too much into a flashy rah-rah show with what they've been doing in Vegas when they used to be like a plain, just kind of short award ceremony when they did it here in Toronto. I quite enjoyed it. I had the opportunity to go 1 year as well, which was very cool. But I quite enjoy the awards. There's been talk about do they add or create new awards to honor some new people, but I don't think so. I'm a traditionalist in that sense that they need to leave it the same and keep doing it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, I think that there's so much, and I think this is kind of off topic, but I think it kind of fits with what we're saying. There's so much good going on in the NHL.
Yeah.
And I like the way that the league is structured. I like what I see. I like how things are going. It's really neat. One of the things, because I can't help myself when it comes to humor in this world, I'm pretty sure that most people know I hate flying. And I read something which I told you about before, and I'm going to bring it up real quick just because I don't want this to get lost in the mix. It's just funny to me. For those of you who don't know, Dave doesn't fly. Dave would be John Madden's best friend. We could ride around in a bus together. I'm not getting on a plane. And it's for reasons like this. So the Dallas Stars did a 3-day or 3-game trip up in Canada. By the way, didn't go well. I think they lost all 3. And on the return home, they were at full throttle. I'm gonna kind of pull the story down just so you guys can kind of see it as we're going through it. But they're full throttle and down the runway, and yeah, they had to slam on the brakes. And you see where it says Coach Rick, who has been traveling as an NHL coach or player for more than 47 years, said he had never been afraid of a plane until Friday night. Like, it's like, I've never been afraid to fly. And then, no, we're going full throttle down the runway, full throttle. All of a sudden, the captain slams on the brakes. Everything's flying all over everything. It's like, wow, you know, like, what's going on? All of a sudden, we're stopped. Turns out there was smoke in the cabin or in the cockpit. But this is why I don't fly. And I just wanted to bring it up as to why another reason they shouldn't go overseas. Just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of bizarre stories. Did you hear this with McAvoy's sister just today? So no. McAvoy's sister apparently is an intern for the Rangers. And before the game, the sister comes down to the bench wearing her Rangers zippy and gives Charlie McAvoy a little fist bump, little "how you doing, broski?" before the game. So it's kind of one of those things, right? You work for the Rangers organization. I get it. You want to be all buddy, and it's your sibling, but man, you got to do that stuff behind the scenes. You don't do it in front to show that you're shaking hands with the opposite team you're about to go to war with.
Yeah, I get it. You know, it's funny because there's another channel out there, and I always say her name wrong, so I'm not going to try. She's literally the PR person for Toronto, and she's a Canadiens fan. And I always laugh because I'm like, as diehard as I am, like I've always jokingly sat there and been like, I don't know, like if the Capitals hired me, like would I deliberately tank their marketing? Probably. Like I just hate them, like especially if it was the Penguins. Like I would literally, like I would definitely sub out Chuck E. Cheese's face for Sidney Crosby, and I would have him skating around as gigantic rat. I would definitely get fired. There's no doubt about it. Like there's no way I could be like anything other than totally biased. I'm not even sure how a player comes up, gets drafted, grew up watching their team and goes and plays for like their most hated enemy and just isn't like, this sucks. Like I don't know how that works, but they're better men than I am. Pronger was the last D to win MVP, 1999-2000. That was a long time ago. So, there's a lot of really cool things I think are coming on. So, I mean, should be kind of neat. So.
Here's another good one. We're talking about Ryan Getzlaf. The reason he backed down from Charlie Conway, couldn't take it. He was taking a trivia test about his own NHL career, and apparently he failed. Questions like, which goaltender you scored on the most, certain things like that. And he failed his own question about his past 12 seasons. Now I get it. He's taken lots of bumps to the head, but that's pretty bad when you fail your own trivia questions.
Do you ever watch Jim Brewer, the comedian?
No.
All right. If you ever want to have a good laugh, and if any of you want to have a good laugh, go watch Jim Brewer. It's called And Laughter for All. He literally just is like, he does this thing about butterflies and about how his daughter has the same look on her face that he does. I promise you it's worth a watch. You will laugh incredibly long. It's like 57 minutes. I cry every time I watch it. But it goes along with what you're saying about like the bump to the head. It's like Bernie's like, Jim Brewer's fantastic.
All right, I'm going to check that out.
His daughter's like 13, and they're talking about like he's the guy from Half Baked who looks like he's just wrecked.
Okay.
And so he's a comedian, and he's doing some stand up, and he's talking about how his daughter's butterfly watching, and she's standing out in the yard, and she's like this, oh, butterflies. It's like it's just when you watch it, you'll laugh because it'll mean something about those bumps to the head.
Yeah.
Because if you ever listen to the standard hockey answer during intermission, it's amazing how it changes from rookie season till the retiree, especially if they're a physical player.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the simulation that you ran where Fred Flintstone's going to win the Stanley Cup this year. I'm pretty sure that they don't take into consideration any of the physicality whatsoever.
No,
because there's no way. I'm sorry, but there's just too many things with that where I'm like, I don't know. I mean, was one team on like super hard and the other one's on like easy, and they're just like they're playing on like PlayStation 15? I don't get it.
Nice. That's all the fun of simulations. Here's one that's not a simulation. Again, I forgot to call him out. Andrew Ladd celebrating his 1,000th game. Wow. Unfortunately, it was in Phoenix and there was 5 people in the crowd, but he got to celebrate his 1,000th game. And that's pretty awesome.
So speaking of which, do you think they're still deserving of having a franchise?
I think the NHL has so much invested in them for all the years they've come out and said, nope, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. We're not moving them. And even that they've come out and said, here's our new building. It's only 5,000 seats. Like, enough's enough. Like, NHL, that's the one thing. You just got to eat your words and say it's not working.
So where should they go?
Quebec. I'd love to see the Quebec Nordiques come back. There's so many good places it can go. But I know Quebec is one of those places. They're so hungry for a team. I think they would support it. There'd be no issues with that. And we have you got states Florida with 2 teams, New York with 2 teams. Why not have we have 2 Canadian teams in Calgary and Edmonton out in Alberta. Why not do it in Quebec?
That's a really good point. If it wasn't Quebec, I would say who else would be really deserving? You really want to piss off Michigan, put another one in there. That would just watch them go nuts. Detroit Red Wings fans would go absolutely just bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're not wrong. You've got PA's got 2, NY's got 2, FLA's got 2, California's got multiples. It's just like Quebec wouldn't get it, not going to realign again. Yeah, see, and that was kind of the other thing is when you look at the way the standings and the divisions are, they almost kind of have to stay in their division in order for it to stay balanced. So it's like, I mean, could you go Texas? I mean, you got Dallas Stars, but I don't know. But I got to be honest with you. I don't think they're deserving of having a team anymore. I don't it's kind of like every time we play them, there's always 2 things I'm worried about. Number one, are they out to like hurt one of my players because they know they're not making it this year? And then secondly, it's like, really? They still have a team? Like we didn't pull them yet? Even Gretzky went down there and went behind the bench and couldn't do anything with them. I mean, if you can't get the greatest hockey player of all time to turn you around,
they're just missing Steve Yzerman as their GM because he's just gold.
Steve Yzerman can do nothing wrong. If they could actually get him over there, you know what the first thing he would say to them is 5,000 seats. How do I do with the other ones? So, and that's the thing is like, what was in attendance the other night? There were like 50 people or something. They showed the stands. Nobody there.
It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. The attendance.
No, and what's really funny is if they actually could get Steve Yzerman to come in, he would be the highest paid person in the building over any player, over the owners, over anybody. And he would literally be there for like 2 years and he'd be like, nah, it's not even worth the money.
No.
It just isn't. And so, like I just sit there and I'm like, there's a bunch of places where you have really good people that come up for hockey. And we're just not giving, like, I thought Seattle was a good expansion, by the way. I liked it. I hope that the fans stick with it. I liked the Vegas expansion. I thought that was pretty good. I would love to see, I mean, you're not going to get the realignment, so you're not going to go Northeast, but in the Southwest, there's just nothing there. And you're asking a lot out of people. And in my opinion, the ice conditions usually suck there. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and their venue, it's a 17,000 seat stadium. So here it is. I just pulled up when they played Chicago the other night. And I'm sure these numbers are inflated. They had just under 12,000. So just under about 69% capacity. And there's no way that's probably including vouchers, giveaway, all this kind of stuff.
There was not 12,000 people.
They don't show. No, I bet you it's probably half of that. So I used to work for a sports team here. See ya. Hey, I used to work for a sports team here in Toronto. And through some bad years, when you're not drawing, you try everything under the sun, right? To get people out, whether you're doing giveaways or people who come to the game. It's like, hey, here's a free ticket to come back the next game. Whatever you do, you do. And a vast percentage of those people do not come back for one reason or another. So I'm sure that number is probably half. So it's probably more like, 5,000 to 6,000 people who were actually in attendance.
And that was for the first period.
Yeah, that's right.
When they went down 72-0, people were like, you know what? If I wanted to pay $14 for a hot dog and a beer, I guarantee you that there would be LEDs flashing and never mind.
I'm going to see if I can find another game that they played at home just to compare to see what
it's embarrassing. And I mean, it really has got to come down to a point at some time. The NHL is going to have to address this because it can't stay like this. They're an embarrassment. I mean,
it really is not coming across well.
could you imagine for a second, like as a hockey player, you walk back into, you go back in, you come off the ice after, after practice, coach goes, "Hey, GM wants to see you, Sammy. Get up there. They're going to go talk to you, eh?" You go walk into the room. They go, "Sam, we love you to death and everything, but we're trading you to Phoenix." Wouldn't the first question you have is, "Well, you just said you liked me. Like,
Yeah.
why would you do this? So you just sent me somewhere to go die. Like, what the hell?"
Yeah.
Like,
I just pulled up
would you-
here. Here's their game against the New Jersey Devils. They're registered at 50% capacity, so 8,500. And again, you're probably half that. Yeah, there it is. 3 to 5K. It's crazy.
So, by the way, 3 to 5K, if we're talking statistics on a 17-5 stadium, if you even have the high number, you're still not at 30% capacity. It is in every way, shape, or form, every time they go on, it is a loss.
Yeah. Do you think it's crazy when the coach yells at you in the bench and everybody in the lower bowl can hear what he says?
Yes. Matter of fact, they don't even have to mic the refs or anything. They can just hear it. They're like, when they're calling the game, they're like, "Wow, dude, you got to be careful. They're dropping F-bombs on the ice like left and right, eh?" Like, no.
Yeah.
Bad.
Just crazy. Well, hey, here's what. How did I even miss this? I can't believe this. 'Cause I'm getting depressed talking about Arizona. I'd rather them be in Hartford of all places.
Right? The Whalers
Bring back the whale. Can we talk about Steven Stamkos for a second? As much as I hate that he essentially bent us over his knee and spanked us relentlessly, Steven Stamkos now the all-time leading point getter, passing Marty St. Louis, and sets the franchise high for points for Tampa. It's amazing.
I never and by the way, I believe that everybody wants to come play for an original 16, whether it's mine or yours, probably mine and yours. I could not believe that Marty St. Louis wound up playing for the Rangers. I couldn't believe he didn't finish out his career down there. I understand it was for his kids and he had good reasons and blah, 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 blah. But congratulations to Stamkos. Look, he's an absolutely amazing player. Tampa, look, they're older. They're a little bit screwy, but they're not a force that you don't want to at least respect. They're a 2-time Cup winner or 3 in the last 4 years. I mean, they just keep winning. It's ridiculous how well they're structured. And it is a testament to ownership, management, coaching. They've done a fantastic job of what they've done. And I'm not saying that they're not going to make a run this year. I just don't believe that they wiped the Panthers in 4. Like, really? So that's not going to happen. But at the same time, I think that they've done something almost kind of what the Patriots did. They built a dynasty. They did a really, really good job the way that they were structured. And I kept saying, you can't just keep handing out these contracts. And they just kept handing them out. And it's never come back to bite them so far. Now they're going to go through a rebuild in 2 years.
Yeah.
But they didn't get bitten. They didn't get snake bitten once. And I was really impressed by the foresight to build the team, the way that they stayed together. Kudos to Tampa.
Yep. 100% agree with everything you said. They can score goals. They can dominate physically. They got some big boys to throw their weight around. It's they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough. So I'd rather play Boston in the first round than Tampa.
I don't think anybody would want to play them over Boston. And we just lost to Boston today, 3-1, but we also have 3. I think at this point, I don't want to say the Rangers are coasting, but we just had 2 injuries. We've had 3 technically. And I'm wondering if Gallant's not sitting there saying, look, we're in. I'm not saying don't go out there and try and win, but don't get hurt.
This is the time of year now, and this week all the roster listings are this person out with an undisclosed, this person out with an undisclosed, this person healthy scratch. Everyone's being rested. Everything is so secretive. It's awesome.
See, and I was just about to say, because you saw me hemming and hawing, and I was about to say, yeah, but I love it because you don't know what's real, what isn't. If you also don't want to take a guy who's on fire and cool him off. So you have to be really careful. This is where coaching comes in. This is, are you a better chessman than the next person? Can you outplay the next one? And like, this is my fear with Shesterkin, is this is a guy, and I'm not going to say it out loud because I believe in hockey jinxing. This is a guy who's had some things in his past. Now's the time of year where if they were to root their ugly head would be an issue. I don't know that when I look at it like this, you're not going to win the Presidents. Okay. Does it really matter if you win the Metro?
No.
I don't think so. I'd rest him.
Even if I had the opportunity to make a run for the Presidents, I don't know if I'd want to, because it has, as much as it's great, it has a little bit of an aura around it.
It has a negativity that goes to it, no doubt.
It's just like when teams win that conference title and some of them go and they pick it up, some of them don't want to touch it. I'd be the ones that say, I don't want to touch it. It looks nice there. Take your photos. Let's move on.
I happen to agree with you. I mean, I believe in hockey superstitions. I always have. Don't touch things. Don't pick them up. The only trophy you want to lift over your head looks like a gold shiny cup. And I don't know, like the Rangers won the Presidents and then got spanked. I'm happy we're not. I'm not saying that I would rest Shesterkin the rest of the way. I would still want to keep his work going because he's on fire. But I think I say to him, hey, look, if the fit hits the shan, don't stop it. Like, I don't care about one goal, care about raising the cup.
Yeah.
And we're in the playoffs. We already clinched. We're not going anywhere. So I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. Bernie just blew up the chat. Hold on a second. I was trying to read it while I was talking, and I'm going, I'm one of these things are going to be lacking, and I'm going to look like Jim Brewer. Let's see. So he's got in here about Yzerman and getting cheap players, which is totally accurate. Hershey finished the regular season. Caps have a bunch of business. Game 7 and Raleigh are an MSG. Yeah, I see. And Gallant was quoted as saying that today about home field, home ice advantage, and it matters in Game 7. And there's no doubt you're right. I'm the kind of person who goes, I take the Happy Gilmore approach. I'll just hit a hole in one every time. Like, I don't need a short game. Let's just go ahead and wipe this out. Let's just sweep everybody. Let's get it done before.
That's way better than trying to take off your skate to stab somebody.
Exactly right. Especially when you hold the league record for penalty minutes. So, but that's the thing is I think that there's a weird balance that people who don't watch hockey don't understand. And that is, if you're skidding middle of the year and you're on fire going into the playoffs, you got a good chance. You could be a wild card team. Look at what you said about Predators. They have the Predators winning when they were in 6th or 7th place when you and I were talking before the draft or before trade deadline. So
let me ask you said something interesting there. Do you really think in today's day and age that home ice makes such a big difference for those Game 7s?
No. Yes, sort of. Not well for Game 7. Yes, for the rest of it, not really. Especially when, what did you read off? There were only 3 series that the simulation went all the way. Most of them were 4-2s, and so when you look at it from that perspective, the question is, what are the first 2 games?
Mm-hmm.
And I like a little showmanship. I think if you go into the first game of the series on away ice and you win, I think it almost sets a precedent. I think it almost is like you get in their head going, well, wait a minute. you're almost guaranteed 3 out of 4, right? Because you beat them at home. Now let's say you drop the second road game. Now you go back home, you should be thinking in your mind, we're going to pick up both of these games. We've got momentum. We've got this. We've got that. Whether you win the first or second game, I think that's indubitably important. If you're the home team and you drop one, I think it's equally as mentally weird in your head, in that sense. So I would say to you, home ice advantage definitely has something to do with it, but for Game 7, I think it's absolutely important.
Yeah, and it's so bizarre because there's so many teams now that whether they're home or on the road, they stay in a hotel. A lot of teams during the playoffs, they make the players go in the hotel, so they're living that life. There's no difference, right, of being home and getting comfortable and all that stuff. And in today's day and age, the fans are so split. Like for both our teams, any building you go into, there's Ranger fans, there's Leaf fans. So you still get some people kind of calling your name and cheering it out. I don't think it makes as much difference as it used to years and years ago. But I think you're right. It's kind of that state of mind where when you're thinking about the games, you're like, oh, we got to go back to this building or that building. We only have one shot to get it done. It's more of a mental game than it is really about the fans, about the crowd. I think also from a business perspective, this is where it gets really interesting. From a business perspective, an extra game's worth of revenue is huge.
Yeah.
Because they're not paying the players right in playoffs. Their salaries are paid off by the end of the year. So it would be really interesting to see if ownership puts any added pressure on any of these teams down the stretch to say, we need to pick up those extra points to get home ice advantage because they're thinking about those extra game potentials.
Well, and you actually bring in a really good point about that, because I think one of the things that is always overlooked, and here's the conspiracy theorist in me. Wait, I need my conspiracy theorist hat. Hold on. Now I can talk conspiracy theories. My conspiracy theory is this. I believe that when you and I are sitting here, like let's say Leafs Rangers wind up as a series, you're a pretty fair calling kind of guy. I hear you sit there and go, "Oh, we got away with one there," and I do the same thing where I'm like, "Oh, I don't know how he didn't just get called for decapitation," and I think this is where hockey fans, and I'm not saying we're better or worse, I think we're just different than other sports. We both have seen in the playoffs where both sides went, "Oh, come on, how do you not call that?" And I have always wondered if it isn't to push it to another game so that they can increase revenue, because they need it for the cap. Most people do not understand how the cap is actually set, and it has to do with total revenue over the course of the entire year, including playoffs. So the longer the games in the series go, the better it is for the league, without a doubt. And it's better for the owners, and it's better for team cap, and it's better for everything. The person that suffers, as you said, players don't get paid, number one. Number two, better risk of injury. So I think that there's something to be said about that. But you bring absolutely epic points up with that. Now I can take off my conspiracy hat.
Yeah, and that's a good one. I didn't really think about that from the official level. Are they being instructed to let something go a certain way, to watch certain calls if it's close down the stretch? We all know the officials put the whistles away and let them play because they don't want to give the outcome of the game. But if the right team is kind of scores that overall goal and they're doing the video replay, is the guy sitting in the office in Toronto watching it going, well, it's super, super close? Is someone nudging him going, no, we can't let that team win? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the point, though, is once it goes back to Toronto, and I always laugh because I don't think that the home office should be in Toronto. And I'll tell you why. Because immediately, if you're playing the Leafs and you hear, oh, it's going back to Toronto, everyone goes, oh, crap, it's going for the Leafs. We already know that it is. Why it's in Toronto? And I think that like there's kind of a joke. You and I talked about it, whether it was last week or the week before, where I said that they should take one of the refs, put them up in the booth, so that they can stop having so many missed calls.
Yeah.
One of the things that drives me in friggin' sane is this intent to blow the whistle crap. Do you know how long it takes to get the whistle to your mouth? I mean, first of all, that's my first issue with it. My second thing is you have a goal that's set up like this, and the goaltender's over here, and the ref is over here. Of course, he's going to lose sight of the puck. In my opinion, refs should have to read the body language of the player. If everybody's still scrumming, the puck's loose. If defense turns and starts cross-checking out of the way and the goalie's hunched over, what do you probably can you guess? He's got the puck.
He dropped his wallet.
Yes, exactly. And he's looking for his contacts.
Yeah.
But if they're still battling for puck possession, it's because no one has it. I think that they need to do a better job with this, because in the playoffs this year, you're going to see it happen. This intent to blow the whistle crap with the goaltenders who, by the way, you could hit them with a truck. They're going to be okay. Let alone this little bendy piece of wood that, I mean, I have nothing more to say.
Well, the NBA figured out how to get around this intent to blow the rule whistle. Or intent to blow the rule? The intent to blow the
rule. Where's it going? Right out the window.
The NBA officials run around with the whistle in their mouth. So when they intend to blow it, they blow it. Seems like a pretty simple solution. Anyways,
I gotta be honest,
for another night.
I gotta be honest. I have a real issue with some of the, and even Bernie's like they've literally been horrible every game, and they have. It's kind of like for anybody who's ever played hockey, and I brought this up last time we talked about it. Officials are trying to look around bodies, look up over the top, trying to see around stuff. They're looking left, going right. There's too much for them to do and dodge pucks at the same time. I'm sorry. There's just too much. They need to eliminate the way one of the positions is working. Keep two linesmen. I think you should have three linesmen out there if you really want to know the truth, especially with the way things are done. Charlie, have a good night. I think that it should be done a little differently, and there should be a ref in the booth. It would stop a lot of this stuff. They wouldn't always have to go to Toronto. He could have the same buzzer effect and sit there and go, nope, that's not it. I think that this intent to blow the whistle crap around the net's got to stop. It's got to stop. Let them play. Put the whistles away. Let them do their thing. But to your point, they can change the outcome of a series, blowing a whistle or not blowing it. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I think that you're also going to see probably one of the least – this is an opinion, by the way – the least physical, in other words, fighting playoffs you're ever going to see is going to happen this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hands down for sure. Hands down for sure. At this point, they should just go to a voting system where they line up all the officials and they hold up a yay or nay sign to determine what the call is. It's about as accurate as some of the replays that they go through.
The funny thing is good night, Morgan. The thing that cracks me up is they got the offsides thing right finally. Okay, where they go and you can challenge it and you get 2 minutes, or I like that. I think there should be more coaches challenges because they can use the technology. And if you're wrong, because your guys are sitting up in the booth and they are watching, and that's kind of the point, right? But if they're wrong, give them 2 minutes.
Yeah. And even that with the offside, they had to come up with variations to say, oh, if the foot is up, the foot is down, little tweaks and whatnot. But I agree. It is a good rule. It's super frustrating because we've been nailed on that so many times. When a guy is clearly there, defense has no chance. The guy makes a picture-perfect shot, scores a phenomenal goal, and they're like, oh, he was offside by a hair. Sorry, no goal. It's like, come on. It wasn't causing an issue to the hockey play. Yes, technically he was offside, but when you're talking millimeters, like, I don't know.
I love it. I love it because it does drive me nuts, and it drives me nuts on both sides. One of it, which is you're a professional who gets paid $13 million, you should be able to look down and see where the blue line is. The other side of it is damn, they just took a goal from me. So like I get your point because it happens to us more often than not. But I also like the penalty of the 2 minutes for delay game. And I think that, like the skate up, skate down, that was a good adjustment. I liked how they pivoted. I think some of these things can be done that way. And to Bernie's point about cross-checking, I'll bring up one for hooking. This thing about the stick blade touching somebody's hand, dude, I'm going to friggin' scream. I'm going to scream. They don't get it right 50% of the time. If you touch the shaft of the stick, you're getting called.
Yep.
What happened to the fundamentals? I went to offense defense camp. You know what they told me? Pick the stick up.
That's Matthews got called on that today. He literally lifted his stick up and around the player, went under his stick, give him a little lift of the stick, and he got 2 minutes for hooking. Like that's not a hook; it's a stick
It's
lift.
not a hook, and that's the thing is when we're literally talking about hockey fundamentals 101, hockey 101. When you're standing on the ice, what are you supposed to do to the guy next to you? Pick his stick up. Why? Stick's not on the ice. Homeboy ain't getting a point. Like that's the point of this is when you're doing these breakaways and you're coming from behind and you stick that stick out, it's not always on the hands. There are times you can push forward, not pull back. If you push forward and you hit the shaft of that stick's going to pick up.
Yeah.
And I'm ultra frustrated by this. So
the one that drives me nuts the most, and this will be the last one, but the bench minor for too many men on the ice. I know, I get it, right? It's a call, it's a legitimate call. But this 2-foot zone, safety zone where guys are getting on and off, it's like an umpire calling balls and strikes. No two officials call it the same way. Some give you large grace periods, some give you none. We've seen changes where everyone's on and off the ice and the puck goes and hits off 3 or 4 people's skates and they don't call anything. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Which way would you rather see it? Would you rather see it as there's no 2-foot zone and everyone's got to be off the ice before someone touches the puck? Or do you want to see it as who cares as long as they're next to the bench?
As long as they're next to the bench and it doesn't impede a hockey play. Like if you are swapping guys and because everyone's hopping on and off, you have like 7 guys on the ice and you go and hip check a guy coming down with the puck, I could understand it. But if it's a clean, guys are just hopping off and on and the puck just happens to kind of be shot around the boards and hit somebody's skate, that shouldn't be a too many men on the ice penalty.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to go with the technical aspect. The technical aspect is when you're dealing with the 21 and over league where we're not allowed to hit anybody because we're not pros, and when we're going off the ice or this or that, okay, I can't get my leg over the board every single time because I'm a little older. I'm not a pro. I don't skate 55,000 hours a week. When you get to this level, in my opinion, this is just the way I see it. These guys come into the board sometimes in full stride, up and over, like it's nothing. There's sometimes they go through the gate. Okay, fine. But in my opinion, when you're doing a full line swap out, when you see both teams are going and there's 15,000 people, I think they should get off the ice. I think that they're that high of a skill set. My thing has always been the more money that you're paid, the more you should play by the rules. And in my opinion is you're getting a 2-second, 3-second head start. It's cheating because your guy's not off the ice. If you did it in a baton race in the Olympics, you'd get disqualified. So if we're playing by the absolute set of the rules, I think everyone's got to be off the ice before someone else can hit the ice. I'm not even talking about touching the puck. I think that 5 guys on means 5 guys on. If you're hanging with, and I'm okay, by the way, you want to hang your leg over the side of the boards while you're waiting for dude to come over, great. Once his second skate picks up, you drop and hit the ice. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit more technical only because of the fact that they get paid bazillions of dollars to play hockey.
Yeah. I would love to see it But I think the way it's gotten so loosey goosey with all the rules and stuff, it
agree.
It just doesn't work at all.
It's not going to, and the truth is, everything that we're seeing, everything gets loosey except for the fighting. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rant for a second about fighting. When they changed the rule to you couldn't take your hat off, otherwise, they immediately break it up, or it's a $500 million fine or whatever. I think that it's stupid. And I'll tell you why. You got more of a chance of, let's say, take somebody who doesn't fight all the time, like I'm going to go on the Rangers for a second and pick like an Adam Fox or Lafreniere. They'll stand up for themselves. If they go to throw that punch and they catch that visor and they catch it at the bottom and they wind up cutting their hand, you're talking stitches. You're talking timeout. You're talking take the damn helmet off. You guys are only doing this anyway with the rabbit punch and grabbing the jersey and occasionally throwing a haymaker. Take it off. Not many guys are in the Ty Domi fights anymore, the George McPhees. They're not there. Okay, even Pillow Hands, he barely throws them anymore.
He's a goal scorer now.
Yeah, he's a wannabe goal scorer. He played with the other end of his stick the other night. So, but the thing about it is you get to this place where you're going, more damage can happen to these guys' hands when the refs are not calling the game fair and they want to stand up for themselves because they've been cross-checked 6 times in front of the net and they've had it. And they turn around and they're like, you know what? My guys aren't standing up for me. I'm going to have to kick this kid's butt and take the hats off. I understand it's about hitting the ice and yada, 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 yada. But you can rip it off and they don't stop it. So why can't you take it off on your own? Stupid. No. Don't like it. And by the way, bring back fighting. Bring back bench clears.
I agree.
Here's Bernie. They break up fights way too soon. More concussions happening on headshot hits than on fights. I agree with that. Rather than fights. Yeah, see, that's the thing is, like, if you saw the dirty hit, it was in your game, as a matter of fact, wasn't it? The sucker punch in front of the net?
There were so many. There was one today. Ilya Mikheyev got in a fight with, I forget who it was, on Florida. Mikheyev doesn't fight at all. And they kind of dropped. Was it Sam Bennett or Sam Reinhart? It was one of the Sams. And they were in close. They dropped the gloves. No real punches were thrown, but they grabbed, and Mikheyev kind of fell backwards. And he kind of flipped over whatever Sam it was. And while they were on the ground, Sam was still throwing punches in Mikheyev's face when they were on the ground. There's no respect anymore. When you had the Domi, the Proberts, all those guys, there was a respect. They'd fight, they'd give a little love tap, good job, and they'd move on. That respect of players just doesn't exist today, which is what leads to so many of these potential injuries.
Well, and Gretzky's and Yzerman's and Datsuk's, they were off limits. You didn't do those things. What I saw in your game, I think it was last night's game. Yeah, I'm almost positive because it was during the highlights. I went back and I watched. And Simmons leaves his feet. Simmons is like 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", something. He's a big guy. He left his feet. It's a dirty shot, and he aimed for the head. I've been saying for years, I think he should be out of the league. I have hated Wayne Simmons for a very long time. I think that when he was an enforcer back in the day, and as an agitator, he was fantastic, and he played a role. But at this point, if you're not going to let the enforcers enforce, hockey will go through what it went through a couple of years ago when they tried to get rid of fighting and it didn't work, and people stopped watching because they were like, it's crap. You guys aren't calling it anyway. They've got to start going backwards a little bit on some of this. They've got to let the fights go. They've got to let them take the hats off. They're going to get hurt. Who's the one person who can take off their helmet on the ice and not get in trouble for it? A goaltender. Goaltender fights are fantastic. It's like watching 2 sumo wrestlers in full pads go at it. It is absolutely hilarious. See, and Bernie just dropped it in about Gretzky. Remember when you saw Gretzky laying on the ice? I think it made the cover of Sports Illustrated. Like you just didn't hit him like that.
Yeah.
And if you did, you knew the entire team was not only going to get you, but your family. And there just isn't that respect anymore. And you're 100% right on it. I think that the league needs to address this in a different way. I think that they're worried about the PC-isms of the world, and hockey people, players, watchers, whatever. We don't care. We want this aspect of the game. It is gamesmanship. It is, can you fire up your team? Can you chirp a little bit? If you chirp too much and the guy decides he wants a piece of you, or did you hit my guy? Did you hit him? Okay, well, guess what? Now you got to deal with me.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for the game. I think it's the only sport out there where it's allowable and it's controllable. It's two guys. For lack of a better explanation, they should skate right to center ice every time, and it should be a heavyweight bout. They should actually go bing, 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 and they should just be allowed to go at it. In every other sport, it turns into brawls. They've eliminated the bench clear. They've eliminated most of the brawling. Every other sport still has it. You still see in Major League Baseball, someone pitches, hits a guy, the bench is clear. You still see it in basketball. Football, it drags into the sidelines. We're the only ones that we don't have that as an issue. We've solved that problem, but let these two guys go at it. If they want to go at it, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So let them do it safe. Take the helmets off. Move the gear so that nobody's falling on anything, and make it just like high school. Make a big circle. Let them skate around. Let them hit each other. And when they're gassed out, stop them. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
That's a good 2 cents to have. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
So what's coming up for you this week?
This week, so it's a fun week for us. Hockey-wise, we're covering the Red Wings and the Leafs on Tuesday, and then Friday, the last game of the season versus the Boston Bruins. So that's going to be a ton of fun. And then tomorrow, we're actually not hockey-related, but tomorrow we're hitting the park up here, Canada's Wonderland Pass Holder Preview Day. We're going to hop over there, check it out, and just check out some rides.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
You're always busy.
Yeah, I try.
You guys are always busy. I'm so impressed by you guys. So make sure you go over, check out what Sam's got going on. Everybody knows that there's some things going on at the network where we're making adjustments. So just be fluid with us, guys. Everything's going to be coming back. We're going to have a lot of things going on. Obviously, we're keeping the sports network. Why? Because I want to. And you're going to see on the network is where most of the shows are going to go. On FPE, we're going to be doing all of our streaming. We've got a morning show coming this week. It'll be streaming on 2 different platforms. We're going to be making some changes on some of the other channels. You guys are really going to like what's coming. We have really good stuff coming. We've got a Harry Potter game show coming. We've got all different kinds of things. I'd like to say to the Ninja Watchers who hung out and for the people who come back and watch what we did, thanks for the watch time. We really appreciate everybody who comes in and hangs out with us. Everything is so good right now, both with hockey, with FPE, with Sam. Everybody's having fun, and that's what the most important thing is in this community. So we really do appreciate it. Before we get out of here, I always want to make sure we shout out a couple people. This is one of them. This is our partner. This is my partner channel. It's Pete McDevitt Show. If you're not going over and hanging out with Pete, you are missing out. Between his Disney stuff that he does with interviews, and he's bringing to you guys things that nobody else is bringing. And then he literally, if there's a sport out there that he's not calling, I don't know what it is. I think he's going to shuffleboard next. Pete is calling everything. So get over there, support him. 11,500 subscribers. Can't be wrong. So get over and hang out with him. If you're looking for live streaming in the Disney parks, that guy looks familiar. He looks a lot like the BearShark. That's my wife and daughter. We go into the parks 5-6 days a week. We constantly bring you Disney stuff. Make sure you go over to our other channel. You can see it listed up there, Florida Park Explorers. Make sure you check that out. Oops, sorry, Sam. I can't just. Whoops.
That's the chip guy, right?
Oops.
First, one cup just wasn't enough, and now he just can't eat just one, whatever that saying is.
Just can't eat one chip. So, but yeah, there's so much stuff going on. It's super exciting to see. But for Sam, who's going to be doing tons of stuff over on Sam Welb Experience, make sure you go over, you follow him, give him a like, watch stuff. This is what we're all about. It's all community based, everybody. If you're a content creator and you want to come join the channel, hit us up. It's easy to do. We've got websites, FloridaParkExplorers.com. You can hit us up on Instagram. You can hit us up virtually anywhere. Speaking of which, let's play this. So what's on FPE tonight? Check out FloridaParkExplorers.com. You'll find all of our shows and lineups, including live streaming, the extra, sports, movie and TV, and everything that's on the network. You'll be able to find all of our lineups and much, much more. So make sure that you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. But most importantly, check out FloridaParkExplorers.com for all things FPE. And as always, thanks for watching. And we mean it. Thank you guys for watching. To the mods, thank you for being the best in the business. I know there wasn't 85,000 people in here tonight, but we appreciate every single one of you for coming and hanging out. Sam and I just love to talk hockey. We appreciate Charlie Conway once again for making an appearance. Next week, we're going to be calling all of our
playoff picks.
Thank you. Boy. And we'll have a bunch of new things for you this week. This Tuesday night, Rangers play the Hurricanes. Come hang out with me. I may not have the coolest graphics in the world, but I curse a lot. So come hang out, and we'll have some fun watching the Rangers, and we'll just kind of do what we do. But for Sam, the natural, I am Dave the BearShark. How I don't know, but we'll figure it out next time. Until then, everybody. Keep it even strength. Don't get a penalty. No instigators. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for watching.